Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where we currently need to bring up our prosperity some. We're very close to getting done with this particular city, and that is, of course, fantastic. So in order to do this, I think our biggest lack at this moment in prosperity really comes from our elite housing. That's a significant issue. So what do our elite houses need? Well, they need furniture is the answer. So that's absolutely fine in theory. We've got this estate here and this one up here. I'm just wondering if we can get a large market squeezed in here somewhere that can feed both of those. Yeah, right here would work. It's not great. It's going to cut into our timber a little bit, and it's going to cut us off over this direction. But I'm not actually planning on continuing this city for too much longer, so maybe that's not a major problem. We'll come up over here and put a large market in there, and then we've got a... Is this one? This one's not going to reach our royal palace, right? No. And we've got this noble compound down here, so I'm just thinking a large market here to reach the royal palace. And then a large market somewhere down this direction. Ideally here, but that terrain is blocked. There's a little bit too much beach there. I'm not sure if we can get this noble compound because of the beach. There's no way this reaches. So that's fine, I guess. And this porter yard can start be getting furniture. And then where would this be served by? Well, we've got this porter stop here. That's salt and cotton. I'm not too concerned about that right now. This porter yard is at 6 out of 6. We've got a stop here that is getting weapons and armor. No shockers there. We may need to have a new porter yard out over this direction somewhere. If we extended this out to here and brought it around like that, we could then put in a porter yard about here. And then this one would just for now be getting furniture to supply to this large market. Now it should probably also be supplied with cloth, and it should probably also get some timber. What else do we need over here? Well, this is served by this granary, and this one's served by this granary, so I'm not too concerned about food. Salt. I mean, yeah, we could definitely be getting some salt. And then some pottery. Something about like that for now. So that'll feed that. And then this one up over here is fed by this porter yard, which is currently getting timber. It's getting pottery. But I don't know that we've got a lot of cloth coming in up over this way. So I'm thinking a porter yard about here. And then that's going to be getting cloth. And then we're also going to want probably some salt out over here. And otherwise, this market should be absolutely fine. Now we're going to need to actually produce some furnishings here, right? And this trading post has got some obsidian here. This porter yard I'm going to have be getting obsidian. And we're going to put in some furnishers up over here. So how many are we going to do? Well, we don't need that many. We can actually fit in a lot here. It's kind of maybe too much. They take in timber and obsidian, and we've already got timber and obsidian right here. So that seems fine, and then this porter yard can then be set to accept furniture. And actually, this porter yard may reach this large market. I think it's one tile off. I'm going to move the market over to here, and then I'm going to move the market to right here. And now the market, yeah, it blocks this road, but it reaches this porter yard, which means that this porter yard should be unnecessary. So we do need to have some cloth here, but we've got cloth right there. And then we would need to have some salt, but salt maybe could come in from here. Yes. Okay. Something kind of like that. So we'll get that going, and that will get us some furniture, in theory, to most of our noble locations. This one down here, not so much, but I don't see a way to get a good market in over here other than these are beach right here. This tile being beach is really bad for us. We could Chinampa this. Large markets are 4x4. I'm wondering if we could maybe move some things around. to get that up over here? I don't know. There's not a lot of really, really, really great options. This sauna is maybe movable to, like, out over here. And actually, we're currently missing some stone road right here. This is a dirt road right here, and that should be Chinampa'd. So we'll get that out of there for now, get this Chinampa going in, and that'll be a stone road. So that's absolutely fine once that gets built. But we could certainly consider moving this sauna over to here. But then what? We're not going to get space here because of the trading post. So I don't think there's really a reason to do that right now. Let's just see if what we've got going on here is enough. It might well be. So these furnishers are now online and are working away. Excellent. And we'll get that furniture made up, and then we'll get that sent out to our noble estates. We need furniture here. This needs ambience, actually. That makes sense. We can certainly put in some stone roads out over this way, get these upgraded to stone. That'll help. And we've got some gardens over here. We could put in more if we needed to, but I'm guessing that the stone roads are probably going to be enough. Yeah, now it's wanting furniture, and that makes sense. We've got our large market right here, and that should be starting to bring in some furniture from this porter yard right over here. So that seems fine. We just need to start making the actual furniture. So that looks good. Prosperity is chilling at 53 at this moment. And I would like to consider raising our wages. We do still have a little bit of destitution, right? So that's something that we'd like to get rid of. That's the size of our slave and homeless population. I don't think we have any slaves. So maybe we have some homeless people. Well, we could definitely put in some homes over this way. So we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like that. And they should all be served by this market. We've got a sweeper here. This common home wants better ambience. Okay, that's exciting. We can definitely work on that. Something like this. Just put some additional stone road through this area. I'm wondering, though, where do we have a well dipper? Okay, this well dipper will reach all of those. So that looks good. We've got sweepers around, and I'm not sure about a sentry post. We could easily fit in a sentry post somewhere up over here, though. So that's fine. I'm thinking right here. There we go. And then maybe extending the stone road out over here a little bit, about like that. So this common home has everything it needs for the moment. Was that saying it lacks pottery? No, it has pottery. Okay. So that looks good. And hopefully we'll get some people moving into these. Oh yeah, they're moving in very quickly. Okay. So that seems fine. Needs access to more religion. I mean, we do have some religion in the area, but we could put in more religion up over here if we needed to. I just want to see if these are going to upgrade. More education. That's definitely something we could do. So that would be something like here. Yeah, I like that position. Let's do it. So that seems good. Any other houses that definitely need to be upgraded? Well, for right now, I think it's all good, to be honest. Things are definitely looking very good for us at this moment. So this home is upgraded, and it's now reporting lack of ambience. So I'm going to put in a gardener about here, and we're going to start putting in some gardens in some of these places around here. So that's 24 out of 30 right there. That's 27 out of 30. And then we can think about maybe something like that. Okay, that should boost the ambience in this region somewhat. In theory, anyway. We shall see. And of course, we probably need more housing still, but we'll see what that ends up looking like. I'm also noting our current finances. That's absolutely a thing. So I'm wanting to check here. Actually, I wanted to check here. Destitution is now only 1%, but that elite housing definitely still needs some work here. But we should be starting to send those furnishings out. Yeah, we've got 10 out of 20 furniture here. Now we need pulque. Okay. That's absolutely noted. So we do have a Megui import, and that is right here. So I'm interested in potentially just putting in brewers right here. Well, we could do one anyway. And we could do an additional couple of brewers up over here. This would theoretically be able to reach this trading post. So something about like that. And then we don't have anything up over here in this porter yard, but we could do a brewer like right up over here, maybe. Or we could do a porter yard or a porter stop. Either of those would work. I'm thinking a porter stop right up over here, and that would be... We'd want this to be collecting something, right? So we'd want to be probably gathering pulque at this point. So accepting that. And that would reach, I think, it would reach these brewers over here. Would it reach this one? No, it would not. We could put a porter stop down over here, though. Like, yeah, it wouldn't go in there. We could put it in here, and that would reach, I think. Yeah, that would reach. So this would be accepting pulque here. And then that would then be distributed, not to this market, apparently. Okay. We would need to put in another porter yard up over here. That's fine. We can put one in right there, and that's just for now for getting pulque. Okay. Down over this way, this porter yard, we can absolutely be getting pulque. And then there's this porter yard here. We can stop getting stone here, and we can instead get pulque. That'll be fine. Okay. So that looks good for the moment. And what about the market that was... No, this is correct. Yeah. Yeah, that should be good. So we'll get those brewers online. We could even potentially be getting another one going here. So we could bring in a brewery up over this direction, which would definitely be reached by that porter stop. So that looks good. Something along the lines of that would be starting to deliver ourselves some breweries. So I think we should probably boost our Megui import, and I'm going to boost our obsidian import as well. We'll take it up to something like that. And financially, things are looking okay, but I'm a little concerned about our finances. Okay, so our prosperity is up to 57 at this time. Yeah, we're working on it. So our breweries down over here, they don't currently have any Megui in stock, and that is, of course, a problem. But there's a bunch that just came in. So that should be good. We'll be starting to get that up over here, in theory. Yep, we've got it. Perfect. Production is underway. This brewery lacks Megui, and that's understood. We can't grow our own, unfortunately. I really wish we could. That would be nice. But alas, that's not a thing. So we're at 57 out of 60. We are really, really, really close at this time. Checking in on our trading posts down over here. Yeah, we can see that these are not full at this point. So that is a good sign. We will continue to export as quickly as we can here. We're holding fairly firm in our axe monies, but it's not... We're not making ludicrous sums of money, and a lot of this is due to our very high amounts of imports. We need to import a lot of things on this map, and that is sad, for sure. But we do have traders coming back all the time. Large numbers of export traders, that's for sure. And that should keep our finances somewhat even. Somewhat. We're running a deficit right now, but we'll see how that ends up going. So prosperity is down to 56. This is almost certainly because of our deficit, and that's understood. So we'll just continue importing here and there. We're importing a lot of stone, No doubt about that. Our stone imports are still completely empty. What's our stone deficit right now? We don't have any construction deficit at this moment. I'm wondering how much we can put into storage and how much our consumption is. We can check that. So if we look in here, we can see that our stone at this point, we have 64 out of 1610. And construction is currently, last year was 107. Okay, that's not too bad. But we definitely need to continue to work on that. That's for sure. I'm certainly concerned about our finances at this moment. That's going to continue to drop our prosperity unless we get that under control. So we'll see where we're sitting on that after we finish, hopefully getting stocked up on some of these additional stocks here. We could just drop down our stone import to being about 80 here, which I think is reasonable. And then moving this down to 80 so that we have the same number of people going to get stone, but they're going to bring back slightly less stone each time. And that means that hopefully our exports will be able to keep up with those expenditures. That would be the idea. Our prosperity is down to 56. We can see that this estate did go up, and at this point, it wants ambience. We can definitely do something about that. So I see we have gardens in this area, but we would need a gardener. So I'll put one in. There we go. And then we'll do something like this. That'll be boosting the ambience in this area a decent amount. I don't think we can actually get back to that, so that's not going to be very useful. Where else can we put up some gardens? Well, we could put some up over here. That's definitely an option. We could do some gardening over this way, something like this. And then we can do something out over here. This is going... Where is this going? I don't think there's actually a gardener out here. And was I doing fruit trees? Yes, I was. I want to be doing small gardens, not fruit trees. Okay. So we're going to be doing this. Growing herbs is still a very good thing for us, and that's going to be something kind of like that. That's 32 out of 30 right there. Okay, let's back off on some of this. There we go. And then small gardens will go about here. These can get removed. There we go. That's 30. So we'll get that going. That'll boost up the ambience in this area. Hopefully that'll be enough for this large estate. We will see. That'll also provide some herbs for this dentist, but we've got herbs around there right now. Okay, this one wants ambience as well. That's noted. The Royal Palace wants more diversion. That's not surprising. And this needs access to timber. Well, we could put a small market over here. That's definitely something we could do. That small market would reach here, and we definitely want to put this stone road in here. This border yard reaches this small market, so that should be good. Now, I don't know if these guys have access to a market. They must. Yeah, they're going to this market. Okay, that's fine, and we'll at least get the timber over to here. But we're not going to be able to get that super advanced. Now, at this point, you can see our prosperity is dropping, and that is because of our axe monies. We're having continuous issues with our axe monies, and that's not very surprising at all. That said, our obsidian is in a much better state now that we've managed to saturate our furnishers, and that is going to significantly help our funds. Hopefully that happens with Megui fairly soon as well, because we need to saturate these breweries. So that's absolutely noted. So we've got some polk up over here, and now ambience is still holding back this large estate. I mean, I don't think there's too much else that we can do in this area as far as boosting the ambience goes. They've got a lot of ambience here. So that's noted. I think for right now, what we should do is we should just continue to tick forward and see if, now that we're importing a lot less obsidian and a lot less stone, if our axe monies get to a better state. Hopefully they will. We're also seeing that our export our export locations are starting to drain out in terms of how much they've got there. That's a good sign. That means that we're exporting more than we're creating, and we're not just wasting production. So that is very good. We want to not be wasting production at this time. So that seems great. Looks like we got a delivery of Megui over here, and that's instantly gone. Some of it making its way out to these breweries, some of it making its way to these cloth weavers. But that's okay. So we're still currently net negative on the axe monies, but it's not very net negative. We could probably solve this if we just boosted our taxes. So there's our taxes boosted. And we'll see what happens there. We're having some of our security venues reporting as being overstretched, and then there's also these out over here. This is not very surprising that those are overstretched. Not very surprising at all. But for the moment, I think it's reasonably fine. So this noble compound down here wants ambience now. We can try to upgrade some of these stone roads, but a lot of this is on beach. And there's only so much that we can do over here. Is this all beach underneath this? Yeah, it's all beach underneath that. So we can try. Maybe that'll boost the ambience for this noble compound a little bit, but can we build gardens on beach? I don't know. I haven't tried. No, we cannot build gardens on beach. So that is good to know. Absolutely A-okay, though. So at this point, this one wants ambience, this one wants ambience, and we can boost the ambience in this region somewhat. We could put in a gardener down over here-ish. And then we can start getting some small gardens in over here. And I'm just going to try to do this without taking out any of the trees that are naturally existing in this area. So something about like that. And then we could do some additional gardens, something like this. I don't think that we can get any out over this way. Yeah, this is all fully occupied over here. So at this point, it's just going to be something kind of like that. So that'll boost up some gardens here and hopefully increase the ambience of this large estate. But that might not be enough ambience increase. We'll see. It doesn't really matter in theory. Yeah, look at how much money we're making now that we boosted our taxes a little bit. So that's much, much better. Let's look at our prosperity here. We're currently 0 on profit and loss. Okay. So that looks good. So we've got these homes out over here. They want access to a sentry post. Okay, I guess we don't have a sentry post in range over here. We can absolutely put one in. That's no problem. This sentry post over here doesn't reach these guys. I assumed that it would, but it doesn't. Okay, fair enough. So we'll get that boosted up, and now we can check in on this guy. Yeah, he's still upset about his ambience. Okay. I don't think we're going to get that any further. So that's okay for now. This noble compound, it wants more ambience. Again, I really don't think we're going to be able to do that. It's just surrounded by trading posts, and that's fine. Our profit and loss will boost us up somewhat. For sure. But now what I want to do is I want to look at maybe out over this way. Residents have no complaints, closer to their place of work. Yeah, sure. So there's not significant issues up over here in our farming areas, other than they just want a home closer to their place of work. And that's the people who are living here but aren't the farmers, right? So they just want more jobs out in this area. Overall, I don't think we have significant issues out over here other than just getting more jobs going. So that's absolutely fine. But yeah, there's just not really anything that needs to happen out over here. So we can check up this direction. More diversion. That's something that we can do something about. So there's this alcove here. There's this alcove here. There's this sauna here. Why are you not getting diversion there? Only 87% access on the alcove? The alcove wants a shrine to Tezcatlipoca, and we could actually do that. That might do the trick. If we did such a shrine right here, that has divine symmetry, and it would oversee both of these alcoves. And it would also oversee this sauna. So let's do that. And once that goes in, that will boost up the diversion output to here. There we go. That is now in, and we just need to have that job there. Perfect. So these are now overseen, and this should now theoretically be receiving more diversion. It may take it a moment for that to actually pop up. We're at 59 out of 60 prosperity at this time. All we need is one more, and honestly, our profit and loss will probably get us there. I don't think we need to make any further changes to this city for it to qualify. So anytime now, the prosperity will dip up. I hope. But no, we're doing very well here. And there we go. So we are now done. There's nothing more to be done for this city. So excellent. Let's, I guess we can save it. And then we can head on back to the menu because it's time for the next scenario. So let's see. Which was the one we did? We didn't do this one, that's for sure. We've done this one. We've done this one. I think this is the one we just did. Right? Hang on, we can check. Yeah, that's the one that we just did. Okay, so there's only one more remaining. Tranquil Reflections. Okay, it features rich resources, obliging trade partners, and an immediate source of fresh drinking water. There's no risk of invasion, so your only challenge will be keeping your people satisfied. Okay, seems easy enough. This is the last scenario, so that's pretty neat. I'm wondering if we have... Okay, I'm just looking around here. They did mention that we had fresh water. I see outcrops there. I mean, I see the lake. Interesting. Well, it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we will get started on this nonsense. I'm noticing 70 prosperity and culture. That's a lot of prosperity and culture. That should be interesting. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. This offset is bothering me. I'm going to fix it right now. There we go. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.